YouTubers, and welcome back. And yes, the S10 is finally running. No, I have not taken it off the jack stands and drove it around yet to make sure it's working under power. But as it sits, from what I can tell, no leaks. And all the parts that I put on worked perfectly the first time. So I'm going to go over the parts that I have on this S10 from the fuel cell all the way up to the carburetor. The carburetor, no, is not converted to E85 yet. But in the future, we will be doing that. Another video, and we'll be tuning it after we verify under power out in the street that this guy is working correctly. So I'm going to start from the fuel cell and work my way up to the carburetor. So if you want to duplicate this setup on your vehicle, you can in your S10 or whatever car you want. I'm not going to go over all the fittings that I use, but I will go over the parts that I use from the fuel cell all the way up to the carburetor. And by the way, the drawing for the fuel system that I'm giving away is going to be this Friday. I'll post up on my Facebook, and probably around Monday, I'm going to lock out that post so I don't have to cut out any more people's names and drop them into a bucket because it's already a lot. So this Friday, there will be the drawing video for this guy right here, and some lucky person will be taking this home and putting it on their vehicle. Now the fuel cell modifications, no big deal. I had to get Evil Energy 10AN bulkhead fittings. Basically it comes with these two gaskets on both sides. You just drill the hole out more, clean up whatever's in the tank, and then you install these guys, just tighten them down, don't get them too tight, and they're good to go. My last video, actually I showed you guys how I did this, so you don't have to worry about that. Did the same thing down there. There's a 10AN feed going out to the pump, which is down there. All right, so the lines that I'm using, it's Evil Energy. I got two of them. I got 16 foot of 10AN and I got 16 foot of 8AN. And they come with an assortment of fittings. It's a nylon stainless steel braided PTFE hose. And PTFE hose is definitely what you want when you're going to E85, because you want something that's going to be the most resistant to corrosive materials as possible. And the PTFE line is going to be your huckleberry for E85. And if you're wondering what PTFE line is, it's basically a plastic hose. So you don't have the same amount of bendability as you would with the rubber hose. So you can see right here outside, you have the nylon, you have the stainless steel, and then you have the PTFE right there. Now before you plumb any fuel and put anything down that throat of that pump, you have to have a filter before the pump. And the filter I went with was just a Evil Energy 100 micron stainless steel mesh filter. Comes with an assortment of fittings from AN6 all the way up to AN10. Of course, I use AN10 on both sides, and I'm plumbing that right into a Pro Systems 440 gallon per hour fuel pump. Now the part number on that Pro Systems pump is an 8804. I mean, it's a 440 gallon per hour pump. It will supply you, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, you can easily put 900 horsepower to the wheels with that pump, NA and nitrous, before you have to worry about any issues. I mean, it's not a boost reference turbo pump. It's more of an NA pump for nitrous. But for the price, it's really hard to beat. It was probably one of the best deals that I saw, that a brand that I trusted, and that's why I went with Pro Systems for this setup. Now, these pumps are gravity feed pumps. It's very important that the pumps are the lowest part in the entire system. So you want everything coming down to the pump, and you also want the pump to be as close as possible where you can mount it to the fuel cell. You don't want it really far from the fuel cell this way or that way. You want it close to the fuel cell so the fuel can drain directly down and to the pump in the lowest part of your system. Now, when you're grounding these out, I have my battery in the back. I like to ground them closest to the battery as possible. And when you're grounding them out, make sure you get all the rust or everything from the frame. Do not use self-tapping screws. That is the worst thing you can use in a situation like that. You want to use a bolt, and you want to make sure it's good and tight. And when you're done, you want to put silicone or some type of RTV over the bolt so that way it's resistant to weather and it won't rust and just blow out your ground and have pump failure problems, everything else down the line because you didn't do a good ground. So make sure it's grounded correctly and it's sealed from the elements. So when you run your fuel lines from the rear of the vehicle all the way up to the front, you need to secure them somehow. You can't have them just bouncing around, hitting your exhaust, possibly taking your whole car up into an inferno of flames because you burnt through the lines, and it's just not a good scenario. You don't want to do it. So what I'm using to secure mine are these cable tie downs or cable clamps. They have a little piece of rubber in there, and that little piece of rubber keeps it from rubbing on your lines, possibly making a hole in it or just making them look bad. And when you secure these to your vehicle, please, for the love of God, do not use self-tapping screws. Am I guilty of that in the past? Yes, but I learned my mistakes, because what I've learned is over time they can vibrate and come out, and I still have some on there and other places that I need to get rid of. But once you screw them down and they get loose, they don't ever get tight again. So you basically just made a hole, and now that little hole is worthless. So you better take one of these with a bolt, screw it through, and make it tight like this. So that way you don't have to worry about it coming loose. And if it gets loose, you can tighten it down. It will actually tighten down again. Not only that, but it looks really neat when you secure it from the rear on your frame all the way up to the front. And you don't have to use any zip ties. Zip ties just look bad. Am I guilty of using zip ties in the past? Of course I am. But I'm trying to do things better now, guys. And I think that this method right here definitely looks way better than the alternative. And then finally, we're at the front of the vehicle, the home stretch. So let's start right here at the regulator with my tried and true Holley bypass regulator. It is 3/8 all the way around, so you have to get the proper 3/8 to AN fittings to attach your AN hose to the reg. Of course, right here, the return is AN10, inlet is the AN8. Going out right here, and of course, I thought I ordered another AN8 right here. Basically 3/8 to AN8 male. I didn't. All I had was a female, so I had to make this kind of contraption right here. It goes from a female to a coupler in to the female right here. So I'm probably just going to get a 3/8 to a male. That way I can eliminate this and just kind of give it a little more clean look right there. And then right here we have the Evil Energy. This is the last bit of line that I bought with some more fittings to make sure that I had enough to put this together. This is the AN8. It's not the nylon, outside. It is just the braided steel with the PTF inside. And finally, we're up here at the carburetor. And definitely you want to make sure that the line going from here to there on your fuel log of your carburetor is also PTFE and not rubber. And there it is. That concludes the entire fuel system. Like I said, I didn't go over all the stuff, all the fittings, because it is really a lot. But this is pretty much common stuff. You should be able to make it all work. And now all we got to do is just modify the carburetor to accept E85, and we are good to go all E85 on this LT1. Oh, and before I forget, you always want a fuel filter before the carburetor too. Just having one all the way back at the rear of the vehicle at the pump is not enough. I've seen too many vehicles that say, well, I have a filter, before the pump. Shouldn't that be enough? Why is my carburetor flooding? You definitely want one right here too. It just helps eliminate any stuff that might build up in your lines that come through. And if you don't have a filter here, they get past this section and go into your bowls. And then of course you have flooding, and you do not want that. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. Remember, this Friday, I'm going to be doing the drawing for the giveaway fuel system, which you guys have seen a couple of these videos if you follow me. It's the one that I showed in the beginning of this video. So hey, if you want that, be sure to tune in this Friday, and I'll be pulling the name. I'll be contacting that person to get their address, and I'll be shipping you out that free fuel system that came off of Mr. Sparkles right here. But we're getting close. Next, I'm going to order all the carburetor conversion parts. We're going to take the carburetor off, we're going to put it together, and then we are going to tune it with E85. But before we get to that, I got to take this guy out for a ride, give it a good shakedown, and make sure the fuel system that's in there right now is functioning perfectly with no issues before I do anything else. So with that said, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and that like button. And until next time, peace.